Rome's long and storied history is filled with emperors who shaped the ancient world, some for the better, and some in ways so horrifying that their names still evoke disgust centuries later. Among them, Emperor Nero Claudius Caesar Augustus Germanicus stands out as perhaps the most infamous, a ruler whose reign was marked by paranoia, sadistic cruelty, artistic delusions, matricide, and the near destruction of Rome itself. This is not just the story of a bad leader. This is the story of a man who embodied tyranny, excess, and madness on a scale rarely seen in history. From his rise as a teenage emperor to his bloody downfall, Nero's life was a grotesque spectacle of power, unchecked by morality. So let us journey back to first-century Rome, where the streets ran red with blood, the palaces echoed with the screams of the condemned, and one man's whims decided the fate of millions. Chapter 1. The Making of a Monster. Nero's Twisted Origins. A family cursed by power and bloodshed. Nero was born Lucius Domitius Ahenobarbus on December 15, 37 AD, into the Julio-Claudian dynasty, a family already infamous for its brutality. His mother, Agrippina the Younger, was the sister of Emperor Caligula, one of Rome's most deranged rulers. His father, Gnaeus Domitius Ahenobarbus, was a violent aristocrat known for his cruelty, once gouging out a freedman's eye in a fit of rage. From birth, Nero was surrounded by murder, betrayal, and political scheming. His great-grandfather was Augustus, Rome's first emperor, and his great-uncle was Tiberius, a paranoid recluse who executed rivals without trial. This was not a family that nurtured kindness, it bred ruthlessness. Agrippina's deadly ambition, Nero's mother Agrippina, was one of history's most calculating political operators. After her first husband's death, she married Emperor Claudius, her own uncle, and convinced him to adopt Nero as his heir over his biological son, Britannicus. Then in 54 AD, Claudius died suddenly after eating a dish of poisoned mushrooms. Most ancient historians, including Tacitus and Suetonius, accuse Agrippina of orchestrating the murder to ensure Nero's rise. At 16 years old, Nero became emperor, with Agrippina pulling the strings behind the throne. Chapter 2. The Puppet Emperor. Early reign and the first bloody steps. The 5 good years? For the first 5 years of his reign, Nero's rule was surprisingly stable, thanks to the guidance of his tutor, Seneca the Younger, and his advisor, Sextus Afranius Burrus. He reduced taxes and cut government waste, gave more power to the Senate, at least in appearance, attempted to ban gladiatorial fights to the death, though this was ignored. But beneath the surface, Nero's true nature was waiting to emerge. The first murders. Britannicus and the death of innocents. Nero's stepbrother Britannicus was the rightful heir of Claudius. In 55 AD, at a palace banquet, Britannicus suddenly collapsed after drinking from a cup, poisoned on Nero's orders. This was Nero's first personal kill, and it marked the moment he realized he could murder with impunity. The downfall of Agrippina had made Nero emperor, but she expected to rule through him. She interfered in politics, demanded influence, and even, according to rumors, seduced Nero to maintain control. Nero, now 19 and eager to rule alone, decided his mother had to go. In 59 AD, Nero invited Agrippina to a festival near Naples. On her return, her ship mysteriously collapsed, designed to drown her. But Agrippina swam to shore and survived. When Nero heard, he panicked. If she lived, she could rally support against him. The brutal end, Nero sent soldiers to finish the job. They stabbed her to death in her villa. According to Tacitus, her last words were, "Strike here, this womb bore Nero." With her death, Nero's last restraint vanished. Chapter 3. The Descent into Madness. Nero the artist, the tyrant, the monster. Nero fancied himself a great singer, poet, and actor. The problem? He was terrible at all of them. But in an absolute monarchy, no one dares criticize the emperor. He forced senators to attend his endless performances, sometimes lasting 12 hours. If anyone dozed off, they were executed. He competed in Greek games, bribing judges to declare him the winner, even when he fell off his chariot. Nero's love life was a horror story. Octavia, first wife. Claudius' daughter. Nero divorced her, exiled her, then had her executed at 22 on false adultery charges. Poppaea Sabina, second wife, a cunning beauty who helped destroy Octavia. But when she was pregnant, Nero kicked her to death in a rage, or so Suetonius claims. Statilia Messalina, third wife, survived only because Nero died first. The purges, killing friends, advisors, and anyone else. Seneca, his old tutor, forced to commit suicide by cutting his veins. Petronius, author of the Satyricon, ordered to kill himself after falling out of favor. Countless senators, knights and rivals, executed on whim. Nero's Rome became a place where no one was safe. Chapter 4. The Great Fire of Rome. Did Nero burn his own city? In July 64 AD, a fire broke out near the Circus Maximus. It raged for 6 days, destroying 70% of Rome. The rumors, some said Nero ordered the fire to clear land for his Domus Aurea, Golden Palace. Others claimed he played the lyre and sang while watching the flames. The fiddling is a myth. Violins didn't exist yet. To deflect blame, Nero pinned the fire on Christians, ordering them to be burned alive as torches in his gardens, torn apart by wild beasts in the arena. This was one of Rome's first great persecutions of Christians. Chapter 5. The Fall of Nero, a Coward's Death by 68 AD, Rome had enough. Rebellions erupted in Gaul and Spain. The Senate declared Nero a public enemy. His own Praetorian Guard abandoned him. The final hours Nero fled Rome, hiding in a freedman's villa. When he heard soldiers were coming, he tried to stab himself but couldn't. A servant had to help. His last words? "What an artist dies in me." And with that, Rome's worst emperor was gone at 30. Was Nero truly the worst? Some argue Caligula or Commodus were worse, but Nero's sheer scale of cruelty, incompetence, and narcissism makes him stand out. He murdered his own mother, wife, and stepbrother. He burned Rome and blamed innocents. He bankrupted the empire with vanity projects. In the end, Nero proved that absolute power corrupts absolutely, and in his case, it led to one of the darkest chapters in Roman history. Final thoughts. Nero's reign was a cautionary tale of what happens when a spoiled, narcissistic tyrant rules without limits. His legacy? A name synonymous with evil. So next time you think your boss is bad, just remember, at least he's not Nero. What do you think? Was Nero the worst Roman emperor, or does someone else deserve that title? Let's discuss in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into Roman madness, stay tuned for Caligula, the emperor who declared war on the sea.